welcome to the recitation 0, and in this recitation we are gonna discuss and learn about Git fundamentals. And so first off, let's think and learn what is Git. So Git essentially in one line would be distributed version control system. It is really helpful to track all the files which you are working on a project. It enables multiple developers to work on a same project simultaneously. By maintaining a history of changes, it allows branching and then merging all those feature branches together. It's really helpful when you want to collaborate on a particular repository. So whenever we think of Git, most of the people think that it's just whatever code you have and then just pushing it to the remote repository like GitHub, Bitbucket or GitLab, but that's not the case. Git is essentially broken into, you could say, four places. First would be your local working directory, second would be your staging area, third would be your local repository, and fourth will be your remote repository. So how these four work is, when if there is a remote repository on, let's say, GitHub, which is like a platform which in the background uses Git, and it's really popular to create and share your code amongst developers. When you do a Git clone from the remote repository which is present on GitHub, it clones your repo into like your local repository space which is on your device. And then let's say you do a Git checkout, that particular local repository pops up and it opens your file, and that space you can call it as your working local directory, which you open in your text editor or any of the IDEs. Now let's say you did some changes on the local directory and you want to now push it to the remote repository. The basic steps is simple. You just do a add of all the local changes which you did. Whenever you do a add, it stages those changes and add it to a staging area. Then when you do a commit, it commits and captures the snapshot of all the changes which you did to the local repository. And then once you check the code commit, and then if you have a tag, you assign a tag to it. Each commit has like a hash ID to it. So once you are happy with that, you can just do a git push. It just pushes to your remote repository. And then in case you want to skip all of this and just pull your remote repository directly to your local directory, you can also do a git pull. This kind of structure is there in Git. Next, we will briefly discuss GitHub, which is, as I said before, it's one of the popular code platforms out there which uses Git behind the scenes. It basically is a cloud-based storage for all the repositories which we could find online for any of the purposes. And GitHub in itself provides a lot of functionalities. It gives us the accessibility to raise pull requests, create issues, create GitHub actions, which are like CI/CD kind of stuff. If you haven't done it before, you can create an account on GitHub and you can get started with your own repository by creating it. Next would be, for example, what's the difference between git pull and fetch and merge. So as we discussed before, there are four parts in Git, four places I would say. So in case you directly want to fetch a particular code base from your, let's say, remote repo, you can do like a git pull and it directly pulls all your changes to a working directory. Whereas if you maybe want to not combine, like pull all the latest changes to your working directory, you first do a git fetch so that it's in your local repo, and then you do a git merge. The second path is usually used when you have some kind of changes in your working directory and there could be some kind of merge conflicts and all those stuff. So usually people follow the second path when they are doing some kind of development on their local working directories. And how do we install Git on your particular device? Each operating system has its own method of installing. So Windows, usually you can use like a git bash or a git GUI. So one of the popular GUI would be your GitHub desktop. It's really famous in the sense it's give you a really easy to access buttons where you can one button away and you can do multiple commands altogether. On your Mac and Linux, you have respective packages which need to install. So once it's installed, you can use like a git version kind of stuff to verify your installation. For example, if I show you, so I have this kind of git installed, and if I just do git, it kind of gives me all the basic commands out there. So like clone, init, whatever commands we can use to work on the current change. You can examine some of the commit histories, or if you want to grow some of your current history, then you have other changes. If you want to collaborate, you have other changes, other commands. So let's discuss about SSH keys and how we can use these to connect our Git CLI to the GitHub account. So this is one of the ways. So you have the SSH keys. I won't discuss a lot about these. What are these? You can go and search on the interweb about them. These are the basic steps which you can follow to set up your SSH keys. If you are on Mac or Linux, you can follow this slide. If you are Windows, you can follow this slide. Once you have the SSH keys, what are the steps to give it to the GitHub or like link it with GitHub? So you can just go to your GitHub account, go to the settings. You have this SSH key tab, and then you can always connect your SSH key over here. You can stick with SSH if you are a regular developer, but if you want more control over your GitHub account, then you can also look into your personal access tokens and the concept of fine-grained tokens, and yeah, that kind of stuff. You can look into it. Once you have done that and you have connected the bridge between your, let's say, your Git CLI on your local system and GitHub, then you can start making repositories. So the straightforward step to create a repository is simply go to GitHub and then click repository and then create repository. Another step is to, if you have like a working directory on your local laptop or PC and you want to initialize that and convert that to a Git kind of folder, then you can run the command git init and it creates the .git hidden folder, which tells that okay, this particular folder it can kind of use git in the background. So that's another step. The second step is lengthy, because after you do a git init, you have to connect your head to the repository you want to create, and those steps are also there, but the first one is the most easiest and the most straightforward one, so you can stick with that. Second would be, so let's say you created like a repository. So I have created like a dummy repo for this recitation, and now you want to clone this. So how you can do that? So it's kind of straightforward. Let's say you want to clone this on your desktop. So I just do a git clone, and it kind of made like clone the repository on the desktop. And now when I do a cd into it, you can see that hey, I am in the git folder. So there's a git and also a readme in this folder. So that's the cloning part. Now let's say you want to add some code to this particular folder. So let's say I just create like a Python file, right, and then just print hello. So if I do like just to see, yeah. So now if I do like a git status, so it kind of tells me what all changes I have which are untracked, right? So this means that I need to add these to the staging area, as we discussed before in the video. So one straightforward way is to just do like a git add and then gives the file name. So if you have multiple files or you have multiple folders, you can give them one by one. Or if you are like lazy, then you can just do a git add and then just press dot, which kind of recursively adds your files to the staging area. And then if we do like a git status again, and then you can see that okay, these files are ready to be committed. You can unstage them again if you want with this command. But if you know that okay, you kind of want to add this, next step would be to commit, right? So you can, before commit, let's say we kind of go into the logs. So if we do like a git log, it kind of tells me that okay, the commit history of this particular repository. So it's just that I have created like a readme, so it has the update readme repository. So let's say if I do like a commit now, let's say created Python file, and now if I do like a git log, it kind of created like a new commit, and it also has like a commit value assigned to it, right? So this thing is there. Now let's say if I do like a git push origin and then to a repository, and then it pushes to your whatever repository was there. So if I refresh this here, so it kind of, you can see, create like a new file. So this is like a basic of how we can use Git. There are multiple ways, multiple commands I would say, of how we can use Git as a powerful tool. For example, you have branching, right? So if I do like a git branch, so I would say that okay, I'm only on main. But if I, let's say, want to create a new branch, so let's say I create like a feature branch, and then I do a checkout to that feature branch. You can see that my branch changed and it made separate, what do you call, let's say if this was the main line, so when I created like a branch, it kind of created new line, like a blue line. And then if I create like a file over here now, so this won't show in the main line. So let's say it's what do you call, feature. So it pushed the feature branch, right? So you can see that okay, the GitHub is kind of smart. It detected that okay, there is a new branch in the town. What to do? Should we compare and pull requests? So that's one way to go. So yeah, this is the branching concept. It's kind of really helpful to know this. And let's say if I want to switch to the main branch again, let's do that. Next would be what you call cherry pick. So this you might not use right now, but this is a really important command when you are working in, let's say, a big team. Cherry pick is you have like a Git graph where your green is your main branch, and you are working on a, let's say, a feature branch which is your blue line. And now on the main branch, you want to cherry pick your commit which has ID of 2b. So you can actually just cherry pick this particular commit into your main branch and then start working from there. So this kind of helps. Also, one thing was that Git branch, a lot of people have this thought process that branch is like a combination of all these commits, but that's kind of not true. I would say branch is like a pointer which points to your head of that particular line here. So for example, in blue, your feature branch here is your pointer towards your commit to C, because it could be possible that you want to create a new branch from your commit to A, which is kind of possible. Then that falsifies your branching terminology. So yeah, that's one thing which you should know. Next command would be your git diff if you want to see the difference between the two commits, branch, or any of the working directory. Then another important command would be your amend. If let's say you are working on something, you commit it to that particular code change. So for example, let's say you did your some changes over here, let's say 1 2 3, and then you saved them and you did, let's check, yeah, you did like a change readme, and then you do a git log. So you will see that okay, you did a change readme here, right? So now you did another change. So let's say you want to change it to 456. So now one way is to obviously create like a new commit. So you will have one commit which will be like changed readme. But since you did like a very minor change, what you can do is you can amend the last change. And since we did not have any major change, I can pass like a no edit flag. So it kind of just used the same, kept the same commit history clean. It created like a new commit ID, but that's okay. So if I kind of push it now, it will just have 1 2 3 4 5 6 on the GitHub repository if I go and look into it. So it has the 1 2 3 4 5 6, and the commit history is kind of clean, so it will have only update change readme once, right? So this is a really helpful tool in case you do minor modifications and you have already committed and you want to just not create like a new commit. Another commands like which you might not use right now but are really helpful to know would be stash, patch, reset, reflog, and git merge and git rebase. Git merge rebase is something which you can see and understand from this photo. For example, let's say there is this kind of branching happening and you create a feature request F1 and F2. When you do a git merge between M2 and F2, it merges but it keeps the history of the second feature branch intact. Whereas if you don't want to do that, you don't care about the history of how the feature branch look like, and you want to keep your commits linear and clean, then instead of git merge, you should use git rebase. So it kind of just pushes your these F1, F2 in front of your main branch pointer. Whereas if you want to combine these F1, F2 into one commit, you squash those changes and merge. In most of the companies or places, you kind of see the squash thing popular, or maybe the rebase thing. The merge thing is not that useful. So yeah, that's the difference between like git merge, rebase, and git squash. Apart from this, yeah, I think that's all actually. The basics command, like we also discuss merging, we also discuss the branching concepts, and even on GitHub, let's say if you want to create like a pull request from feature one to main, just create a pull request and then see that okay, there's no merge conflicts. You can just merge this, and you have the options also like merge, squash, and rebase and stuff here. So let's say you just simply merge, and it just merged it, I think. So yeah, now if I see, it's now P1 and P2 both are there. That's all for the main commands, and there are a lot more to explore on Git because it's a very powerful tool, and a lot of companies, a lot of research organization use Git indirectly or directly. So it's really important to master this tool. So yeah, that's all for the recitation, guys. Thank you.